Hi students, welcome back. Now let's see a program to create and handle the checked exception. So in this video, I'll explain the program that is relating to the checked exception. In the next video, I'll explain about a program create unchecked exception. Okay. So here a program to create and handle the checked exceptions. So I have used the class negative number exceptions which extends the exception. So here the exception is a super class. So this negative number exception is a subclass. Okay. So the class negative number exception extends the exception. So I had just written a code snippet here. So the class sample is loaded, open brace executed. So whenever the open brace executed, the controller will goes to the main method. First it load the main method. So main method come to the try block. So try block is introduce a task. So what task it has to be performed. So integer dot parseInt argument 0. So because here the argument whatever it is of string type. But here I am using the return type as an integer. Argument is string type and the return type here it is an integer. So try to convert it by using the parseInt. So if you want to call the parseInt method, parseInt is present in which class? Integer class. So that's why integer dot parseInt argument 0. Whatever the argument that you are entering at the command prompt, so that argument is, that number is stored in X. Because argument is of string type, so if you enter the number without, suppose if you didn't write, only simply if you write the argument 0, okay, because the argument 0 is of string type, but your return type is an integer. So compulsory you need to convert that. Suppose if you are entered the 24 number. So the 24 is an integer but argument is of string type. So convert it by using parseInt. So the parseInt is a method which is present in integer class. So integer dot parseInt argument 0. So that 24 whatever you entered the command prompt, that will be stored in X. Now create an object. Object need to be created. So if you want to access any method, so cube is a method. Okay, if you want to access any method, first try to create an object. That I already explained. If you want to access the instance method, so these are the methods. Void cube is a method. If you want to access the instance method, this is an instance method. If you want to access the instance method, first try to create an object. So new sample object is created with an object reference, yes. So with the help of object reference, you are calling the instance method s.cubex. So whenever the controller seen that, compiler seen s.cubex, the controller will come to here. With the help of an object reference, we are accessing the instance method. So void, no return type. Cube is a method name. Int a throws negative number exception. So if you entered anything, so a negative number exception, other than the positive number, a negative number exception is raised. Okay. Int a. Suppose if a is greater than 0, whatever the value that you entered at the command prompt in the place of argument 0, x, okay. If that is greater than 0, okay. So we have to print a cube, a into a. Otherwise, suppose if you entered other than the number, okay, other than the number, if you entered the string or if you entered the negative number, anything like that, okay, then it throws an exception. What exception? Throw new negative number exception will be raised. Okay, so that you have to, so whenever, suppose if you entered a number which is not greater than 0, means if you entered a negative number, because a is greater than 0 means positive number, it is going to be accepted. Suppose if you entered, suppose minus 2 if you entered, whenever the minus 2 is there, it is an exception is occurred. It is false. Whenever it is false, controller will come to else block. Else block, what it is doing? Throw new negative number exception. So the controller will go to the catch block. Because error is occurred. So it throwing a negative number exception. So controller will come to here. Negative number exception. And print whatever the message. System.error.println NE. What it is going to be. Okay. Negative number exception is occurred. exception is occurred. Or else you can write here a message also. Please enter the positive number. That message is going to be printed. Okay. So this is a program to create and handle the checked exceptions. So unchecked exception means by default the compiler at runtime, the compiler will no need to enter the try and catch blocks if it is an unchecked exception. But checked exceptions means definitely you have to mention like throw negative number exception. Okay. So if it is a checked exception, it extends exception. You have to write extends exception if it is a checked exception. Or else if it is unchecked exceptions, you can write extends runtime exception. Runtime exception. So the runtime exception is nothing but unchecked exception. Okay. So this is how to handle the checked exception. So it's simple thing, nothing is there. So first sample class is loaded. Okay, a sample class is loaded, open brace executed, controller check search for the main method, come to here, a try block is created because checked exceptions. So these are the user need to mention what type of exception is occurred. Okay, so argument 0, whatever the number that we are passing, a return type X is there. Okay, our object is created to access the instance method. So cube X, so whatever the value that you are entered here, suppose the 24 you entered. So here a method called in 24. 24 is greater than 0. So it prints the 24 into 24 into 24. Suppose here if you given the negative number. So controller comes here and checks A is less than 0. So it goes to the else block and throws the negative number exception. So throws negative number exception means go to the catch block and print negative number exception is occurred. Okay. Thank you.